Okay, we're doing chapter
Chapter
5.
5.
Yeah, chapter 5 of the Demon of Death. It's so epic, guys. It's called,
Sanctuary and family.
yeah, Sanctuary and Family. I wonder what'll happen. Right, okay. Because in chapter 4, their home got destroyed, and then he was going to move in with a super special secret
Keep
person.
in keep in mind that he's super cool
Oh,
and that
Jack
his
is
new
epic.
house is super permanent and better than their original place in every way.
Well, right. I remember in chapter 4, he did say it was even better than repairing their old home, so this better be worth it. Anyways, hey guys, I'm back. You know the drill by now. Read and review.
No.
I won't. Alright, disclaimer, I don't own the Crash
What
Bandicoot
the
franchise.
No. No? What the trash? He doesn't Gabe, are you serious?
This guy doesn't own Crash Bandicoot, which
I
is
thought
a
that
real
between-
shame considering the quality of writing on display here.
I thought between chapter 4 and 5,
He would have
like,
bought Crash Bandicoot by now.
yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think the Crash Bandicoot games would be a lot better if he was writing the games, because
That's true.
you could put Jack in, and Jack would be the most overpowered character. You'd just be able to
And I felt
run.
and I always felt that Crunch had too much of a profound role.
Yeah, Crunch.
Like, I just kind of just mention him, really.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
basically it.
Well, keep in mind we're on chapter 5, and I think he's been mentioned by name a single time. So, alright, let's actually read this. Coco just stood still, not saying a word as she stayed in her new friend's grip until a few moments later, where she seemed to regain her voice. What do you mean, new home? What do you think that means?
Yeah.
Anyways, she
Yeah.
asked, the question coming out more like a whisper
Oh my-
as she gave the man holding her a questioning gaze. Jack, seeing the girl's confusion, decided to elaborate. The woman,
Oh.
the woman.
I love that it's like-
what?
Even that line of dialogue is condescending somehow. Where it's just like,
to elaborate. Yeah, well, he made the decision. He could have decided just to not elaborate at all and just walk away.
well, how about not do the dramatic dumb thing he says? Who's like, somebody's gonna invite you in their house.
Yeah. Just tell them straight out. Anyways, the woman I spoke on the phone with, that was my mother. And after
Dun, dun, dun.
and after I told her your story and explained what happened to your home, she decided to have me offer to have you all live with me and my family.
Yeah, do you understand, man? He's so freaking cool. He's gonna move in with his own mother.
Yeah, he's gonna move
with
in
his
with his
waifu.
mom.
Isn't that so cool?
Also, the
That
phrase,
impressed me.
the phrasing of "she decided to have me offer to have you all live with me and my family" feels very overly complicated.
What are you
All right.
talking about, man? I'm joking. It's
Well,
pretty
she
awful.
decided to let him make the offer instead of just she decided
Well,
to
it's his
offer
offer
you.
to make
Yeah, well, it's his.
because he owns it. Yeah.
Yeah, he owns whatever. You know what? Doesn't matter. Anyways, Jack said That also whatever. Jack said trailing off as he took in the Bandicoot family's expressions. Coco, for her part, looked ready to burst into tears as she took in the information. A lot of taking in. Information with a trembling lip. You really mean it?
As if it's such a huge honor to move into his parents' house.
Yeah. Well, Jack just nodded the smile, never leaving his face. What if Jack just said, no, I'm just kidding? What if he just lied for no reason as whatsoever? Within seconds, Jack suddenly found himself knocked to the ground in a heap with a crying Coco on top of her face buried in his chest. Okay.
Yeah, he's like,
So he's like
oh,
knocked.
thank you.
So he's like lying on the ground, and she's like on top of him,
nuzzling him in the
Ooh,
chest.
Yeah. Jack just let the young girl cry, rubbing her back as he did, before Aku approached.
Don't say young girl to your wife.
God, I hate this line coming up. Before Aku approached with a guiltful look, we don't deserve your kindness.
Oh my god! Come on.
Yeah,
Come on,
really.
the Aku, the tiki god, is like, oh, bow
Yeah, we
down,
don't deserve you to bow
down.
down to the god.
Meanwhile, this guy gets beat up in school like the author. But this is where he actually gets, like, the true respect he deserves.
Yeah, he gets the true. Well, he doesn't. Whatever. Yeah, he's too good for all these people. Really, you just have to remind him that he's just way too good for all these people. Anyways, however much to the Guardian's shock, Jack just
laughed.
Oh, you took me, a complete stranger, into your care, despite not knowing if you could trust me or not. Frankly, I should be the one repaying your kindness. That's why I'm offering you all a new home with my family and I. It's the least I can do. I'm sure you can do a lot less than that, but whatever.
As the owner of the home, isn't the mother the one taking them in?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, that would make sense. But after all, it was Jack's offer to make, I suppose. So, you know. Let's see. Jack said trailing off to let there's a lot of trailing off as well. To let the rest of the group process the information given to them. A silence washed over the group. No one dared say anything lest they want to lose this chance they were given. What? What does that mean? Isn't Jack said, like, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my own heart. Like, you don't need to do anything to prove that you need this.
Oh, but it's such an honor, Gabe. Like, the sheer fact that he's offering that huge honor, you know, him, like, they can't, like, they have to act on this right now, otherwise they'll regret it for the rest of their life.
Ugh.
You know what I will point out? You know what I will point out about this author? And I've noticed this over the few chapters.
What?
Just a quick point out is that this author gets very stuck on a few things when writing. So one chapter he says dinner plates and a lot of different metaphors a lot.
Right, yeah,
this chapter he does a lot of, people are taking it all in.
They're taking it all in. They're processing the information.
And when Jack chuckles, he chuckles perpetually.
Well, he's just laughing in this chapter.
Yeah, the author gets stuck on a few phrases and uses them over and over again based on whatever writing session he's in. I think I've noticed that.
Yeah, alright. Where am I? Eventually, Crash turned from the group, giving Jack a nod, receiving one from the man in question in response. God, that is like the most inefficient way to write that thought.
What is with the redundancy of this chapter?
There's a lot of like very inefficiently phrased phrases to make no sense. Collect anything you want to take with you as a memento. It can be Wumpa fruit, electronics, pictures, anything that reminds you of home, Jack said, nodding towards Coco, whom had just gotten over a momentary crying fit a moment ago.
Who takes frickin' fruit as a memento of their own home? What the... Go on.
But Jack, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Jack? Coco asked, giving the boy a curious smile. I'll go make the call. You all collect everything you can. Make the call. Seeing the group nod, Jack went off to do as he had mentioned. He used the speed dial again.
Second call.
Oh, right, yeah, to confirm. He used the speed dial again before placing the phone up to his ear. Hey, me again. The woman on the other end, now identified as his mom, responded. Again, he couldn't have just said his mom responded. He
treats his mom like there's some sort of subservient to his like organization. where he's like negotiating with her for some reason.
Yeah. Did they accept?
Like who says that? Like I don't know. Wait, why would he say that? Why would he say to his mother, did they accept?
No, his mother did say that. Jack chuckled at that.
Oh.
Because of course he chuckled at that.
But that's not how it was written. In the previous chapter, he said things, and you didn't hear the responses. In this instant, we are hearing the responses.
Well, yeah, it's to make it... It's now that we know that it's his mother, we can hear the dialogue. See, they only blurred out the dialogue to add that sort of suspense. Because if,
Right.
if it was just like, oh, I'm your mom. Also, I just love, like, I don't know, I just love how they set it up in chapter 4, where it's just like, oh, I'm calling in an old friend. Like, they do, like, that cliche where it's like, I'm calling in an old friend. Except in this case, it's his mom. It's, like, so lame.
It's just some sort of connection he has from, like, someone who owes him money or some trash. Like, why is his mother being treated this way in conversation and thought? Whatever. Continue, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think? I've got them collecting their things, and anything they can salvage from their destroyed home. The woman laughed before she spoke, sounding as kind as she could be. Okay then, let them know I'll be there within the hour with a large boat. Jack nodded. Got it, see you shortly, he said before hanging up the phone. In a large boat. I'm glad she... Oh, whatever. Okay, guy.
He's from a rich family.
Yeah,
he's like very, of course.
Okay, guys, my mom will be there in an hour. So you need to make sure you have everything? Question mark for some reason? Jack trailed off. Oh, he's trailing off again. Can't pay attention. As he took in the boxes. Oh, he took in the box. Jesus fucking Christ.
You see what I mean about him being very fixated
this
on
is very repetitive,
things?
yes. Jack trailed off as he took in the boxes and bags that the Bandicoot family had in their possession. Coco laughed as she saw the man's face. What can I say? We work fast, haha. The man just laughed. Fucking Christ. So many laughing. This is like the most repetitively written chapter so far. As he led the group to the beach where the boat was supposed to arrive.
This is written like the most boring story ever. Like,
yeah.
You write something that's like, it's not in, like, there's stuff happening, so it's not like it's like inherently boring, but the way it's written and such repetitive, it makes your brain think you're reading the exact same things over and over again.
Yeah, it's like mind rot, the chapter. Alright. Where was I? The man just laughed as he led the group to the beach where the boat was supposed to arrive before sitting down to start keeping an eye out. The group joined him with Coco deciding to strike up a conversation. What's your mother like? I hope she's nice. Jack smiled. Yeah, she's not nice. Jack smiled as she began to think of the best way to describe his mom. Her name is Diane. She's very kind, smart, and a very loving mom. She's got shoulder-length brown hair and beautiful blue eyes.
How political of an answer. Like, how non-intimate you are with your mother.
I also like how he, like... I don't know if it just feels weird to, like, describe the appearance. Like, if you're like, what's your mom like? You wouldn't say, like, oh, she's got shoulder-length brown hair and beautiful blue eyes. Like, especially if she's appearing within the hour, like, you'd probably know what she'd look like. Very soon.
What is your mom like? She is a human female that I am acquainted with.
Yes, she is very kind and smart and a very loving mom.
This is so generic.
Well, he couldn't think of anything to say. He's just like, whatever.
The mom was a hired actor. I'm getting that from this.
She's a paid actor. She didn't actually love her child. She's just paid to. And who could, after all? Whatever. Alright. Coco smiled as she began to paint a picture of the woman in her mind, smiling at Jack as she did. She seems like a very nice woman. I wish she could have been my mom.
How would you know that from that description? How would you know?
That either implies that Coco didn't have a good mom, or that's just a very, very weird thing to say.
Well, like, clearly Coco's mom wasn't Diane, wasn't smart, and wasn't very loving, and didn't have shoulder-length brown hair and beautiful blue eyes, Gabe. I mean, that's clearly what that's saying.
Well, I think really what she's saying here is that she wished she could have been my mom, because she's the mom of Jack, and Jack's just such an amazing person.
You're right.
That even being closer in relation to Jack would have been, you know, better. Whatever.
Yes.
Well, she said, okay. She said,
of a person.
She said sadly as she began to stare out at the Oscan, which was beginning to get an orange hue to it from the sun setting a few feet away. That's I think the sun shouldn't be that close.
Nice one.
Jack was about to respond when somebody spoke up. Well, I'm flattered you think so. The group turned.
How would they not be able to see that person from coming in a ship at the ocean that they're watching?
Yeah, they're staring at the ocean, and they're yeah. The group turned to the source to find a woman standing atop a large pontoon boat. Come on, everyone, let's get your things on the boat, Diane said, giving the group an energetic smile before the group began to do what she'd asked. Some time later. Alright. After the group had gotten all their things packed up, they began to spread out on the boat, doing their own thing. Jack and Coco were just sitting on the deck, staring up at the moon, with Coco laying her head on Jack's shoulder, while Jack just held her close. I just, like, this chapter in particular has spent a very little amount of time on Crash and anybody who isn't Jack and Coco.
Is Crunch even there?
Yeah, Crunch, like... It's starting to get a bit concerning that Crunch just has not been mentioned in like 4 chapters.
He's one of the untouchables. There's a Bandicoot hierarchy of social of social, hierarchy where like there's the untouchables, which is just Crunch, and then there's everyone else.
The thing is that I understand like not having a lot to do with Crunch, but, like, why even mention him in that case? Like, the first 3 games did just fine not having, like, Crunch as a character. Like, you don't need to oblige yourself in adding him.
Scrappy Doo of the universe, clearly.
Yeah.
Anyways,
what were we on? I don't know
how to... noticed... Do you notice this, Gabe? Do you notice the fact that Jack and Coco are sitting together like they're kind of a couple already? Like, that Jack, as an author, sneakily put them as, like, kind of a couple already without actually leading up towards it whatsoever. He kind of does some setup, but it's not like they're like automatically like a married couple.
Well, they're basically just acting as if they were a couple, but like still treated like that actually surprised me early in the chapter because it was like, oh, you're such a great friend, and it's like, oh right, they're not supposed to be like a couple yet. Even though,
they've known each other for like a day.
I know, but they literally just been treating each other as if they were like a couple. So it's like,
if you really think about it, the course of events is that like he woke up, then like the whole thing happened with like Neocortex, and like Tiny destroyed the entire island, and then they're waiting for their mom as it turns to nighttime. They've known each other for like a single day.
Yeah, they basically known each other for like maybe 2 days tops.
Maybe 2 days. I'll give you that.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know how to thank you for this. Again, we've already fucking been over this. Coco said, turning her head to give Jack a grateful smile. However, the man just shocked his... Yeah, I can think of a few things. No need to thank me. I just did what I felt was right.
Oh.
He's such a good person, Josh. Did you get that impression?
It's the same dialogue over and over again of like him being a self-righteous person that does not murder and is super cool.
He's super awesome, man. Coco smiled before bringing their faces closer together. I still feel like I should thank you, somehow.
I knew it was
The girl said, trailing off as she suddenly got an idea, and then she walked away. Before Jack could react, Coco...
Trailing off.
Oh yeah, trailing off once more. Before Jack could react, Coco quickly pecked him on the cheek, leaving the two of them a blushing mess. Isn't that a great moment? Isn't that a great moment that you totally haven't seen in 500 fucktillion different stories already? Anyways.
Yeah, man. If you basically think of it, she's repaying his debt by selling her body to him.
See, that would have been a much more interesting story if it just turned into that. Like, just imagine, like, randomly in the middle of this fucking story, it just turned to, like,
here's my slave collar right here.
Yeah, it's like, I'm doing you this favor by letting you stay at my mom's house, but you're gonna have to pay me back by being my servants.
That's what it is, basically.
That would actually be like a legitimately funny story, though.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Oh.
Where are we? After a few more minutes, the group noticed they were approaching a beach with a giant villa overlooking it. Jack just looked amused at the looks of wonder they all had on their faces.
It's just so above him to have that type of look.
Yeah, Jack, he's been through this before. He's amused. He's looking at them like they're like little children. Before Jack adopted a nostalgic look as he finally took the first look at his childhood home that he hadn't seen in more than a year. Oh, such a long amount of time, a whole year without seeing your childhood home.
Is he seriously planning to stay with his like mother for like the rest of his life? Is that what we're leaning towards?
I guess so. Like, where was Jack? Like, here's the thing. He hadn't seen his childhood home in more than a year, but like, where had he been in that year?
Oh, I guess we'll find out. Or not.
I don't know. We'll get. I think that's the next chapter, but whatever. Who cares? Welcome home, guys. Yeah. Welcome home. Wow, the Bandicoot family muttered in amazement. What?
I'm gonna have to stop right here, man. How many freaking times do I have to? Every single time it screams in my head, man. Crash Bandicoot's most iconic freaking phrase is "whoa," and every single time they say "wow," it's such a subtle thing, but it's like, does he?
Well, you can tell that Jack really understood the character of Crash Bandicoot.
Darn it!
Oh
man.
Shit! Wait. Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I just read ahead a little bit. Anyways. Wow, the Bandicoot family muttered in amazement as they took in the sight of the giant villa in front of them. This is your house? Coco asked, carrying one of the family's boxes and bags, each on her person, as she turned to give the young man next to her a look of shock. Jack just chuckled, muttering, "You think this is amazing, and yet you haven't seen the inside yet. Wow, Jack, real humble guy." Just not condescending whatsoever. They cut their conversation short as they focused on getting all of the Bandicoot's possessions brought into the house. After all the packages had been brought in, they decided to walk around and get a feel for the place. This room we're in now is a combination foyer den, Jack said, trailing off once more as he turned to his left, pointing out another room. That room is the open concept kitchen dining room, next to the laundry room. He then trailed off again, fucking hell. As he turned to his right, pointed to the rest of the first floor. Over there's the game room and training room. Past the sliding door behind you is the in-ground pool and path leading to the beach itself. Jack then turned to point out to the stairs that led to the upstairs area of the house. Up there are the bedroom, hall, bathroom, and closet. Jack finished with a sigh as he took a moment to catch his breath. I may live here, but I'll never get used to listing out all the rooms. Ha ha! Diane then spoke up, looking a bit tired as she did.
Yeah, they're so freaking rich and fancy and have such a great house that they just can't get used to their house that they've been living with years.
Well, why would Jack have to struggle at all in any respect? He has to be super overpowered and live in a giant mansion and be super rich.
I find the concept also of a training room to be kind of stupid. Like, I kind of get like a workout room, but a freaking training room.
Well, yeah, so he can train his epic powers.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. Here we go. Diane then spoke up, looking a bit tired as she did. While I agree with you on that one thing, my darling son, forgot to mention is that we have 3 bedrooms. One being mine and my husband's, another being Jack's, and the third is a guest room with 2 beds and a bathroom. So 2 of you will share the guest room, while the other one will have to take the living room couch or share a bed with Jack.
I wonder where that will lead.
Yeah, it's so fucking obvious. Jack just face-palmed to himself. Oh. How could he have forgotten that? Darn it. How could he have forgot that? It's such an obvious oversight. Right. I'll let you guys talk it over for a bit. I'll be in the garage out back working on my car.
Another room you didn't point out.
Yeah. Well, he's working on his garage band. It reminds me of your Indiana Jones fan fiction.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
randomly works on a car for
What?
no
Why?
reason.
So he hasn't been here for like a year and a half, and he has a random car that he's just gonna work on immediately when he comes home. I have so many questions.
Jack then went off to Jack went off to do exactly that. So glad.
Thanks for notifying me. I would never have known that.
I can't believe Jack would do exactly what he said. He's just such that kind of character, whatever. That not noticing a certain bandicoot girl chasing after him.
I wonder who it is.
This is your car, huh? Coco asked as she began to survey the vehicle in front of her. Yup. Jack muttered as he popped the hood and began working on the engine, intending on increasing its overall speed and
Why would
horsepower.
he do this when he first enters? Like the people just got their bags. It takes a lot of time to pack in people like as a permanent resident. And the first thing he does is enter home is go to his random car that he hasn't seen in like a year and a half.
Yeah,
It's
he
just
hasn't been to his fucking house in a year, and he's like, alright, I'm just gonna go work on my car, I guess.
Oh,
Like, he couldn't just have, like,
God.
Jack go to the kitchen or something and make himself something to eat.
Or help with the unpacking, really.
Now,
Well, I guess they might have unpacked. I don't even know, actually. Whatever.
This is your car, huh? Coco asked as she began to survey the vehicle in front of her. Yup, Jack muttered as he popped the hood and began working on the engine, intending to increase its overall speed and horsepower. Now, if I do this... Jack then trailed off once more, moving faster than the human eye could follow.
Oh my
god!
God! This is so freaking. Is it seriously to that point where like he's such into that masculinity thing that the first thing he shows his wife, who is his amazing car, and how cool he is at repairing it.
He's moving faster than the human eye, dude.
If this was more American, he'd be showing the girlfriend the gun rack.
Oh yeah, his gun rack. Yeah, well, he doesn't need a gun rack. He has super fucking flame angled devil powers.
He may not need a gun rack, but he would still have a gun rack with like the most rarest guns in the world that he personally designed.
Oh yeah,
somehow.
Yeah, he personally made all these guns himself, and they're
the
more
best
powerful.
Guns in the universe.
Yeah, they're more powerful than anything ever seen before. Anyways, he stopped now, looking extremely tired and covered in sweat and grease. Phew, that should boost the horsepower from 5,000 to 12,000.
Of the car that you haven't seen in a year, and why wouldn't you do that before you left, or just in general?
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe he thought about that on his time away. Jack noticed Coco looking at him strangely. What did you do? I just supercharged it. The only problem with that is that it tires me out and leaves me in need of a shower. Ha ha. Jack said with a wink. Jack noticed Coco holding her nose the moment the girl muttered, I can see why.
You see how, by the way, I'm sorry to constantly pause, but I have to point this out. You see how we've moved to the point where, like, even beyond that tiny incident, he's so far more intelligent than Coco, the intelligent staple of the Crash series.
Yeah.
That like you've essentially made Coco a completely useless character in every way.
Well, she's just a parasite for Jack, basically. She literally just like exists to like boost his ego and like fawn over him. She serves no purpose.
I feel like this car scene, its only purpose is to brag about his intellect, like showing his superiority as like an intellectual, and also to like show his furry waifu, his like epic masculinity and epic car. I don't even know what to say, man. It's not gonna come up. Just watch it, man. This car's never gonna come up again.
Yeah.
In this one paragraph.
Of course, yeah. It would be surprising if they actually did bring back the car thing. Not like it would fucking matter. Why would they need a car at all, at any point in this story? Anyways, after getting a quick shower, Jack came into the living room to find everyone watching TV. He joined them, taking a seat between Coco and Crash. Have you guys figured out the room arrangements? Diane spoke up, answering for the rest of the group. Yup, Crash and Crunch. We did it, boys.
He wasn't even watching TV, apparently. He wasn't even mentioned there.
Dude, they mentioned Crunch. They finally mentioned Crunch.
Alright, fine.
For the
I'll give you
first
that.
time since chapter 1. And it's not even Crunch saying that or having any sort of thing. They're just mentioning that he exists. It's just...
Dude, imagine we've gotten to the point where literally it's just Crash and his mother just answering for the Crash Bandicoot characters, and they're just sort of there. And the only time they're actually useful is when they're just asking Jack questions where he chuckles and says why that's a stupid question and he's superior. Like, I feel like it's getting to that point, right?
Yeah,
It's gotta be.
It is pretty much getting to that point. I just love that they've mentioned Crunch twice, but it's been from like a third person point of view. Like he hasn't done anything. He hasn't said anything. He's had no presence in the story whatsoever. Yet they still need they still feel the need to like bring him up. Ugh. Anyways. Crash and Crunch will share the guest room, while Coco will share a room with you, at least until we can get another room added for her. However, Coco just shook her head. You don't have to do that. I don't mind sharing a room with Jack. Crash raised an eyebrow, sending a worried glance his sister's way. Are you sure you want to do that? Coco just looked a little annoyed at her brother's overprotectiveness. Stop doing that, Crash. You know I'm not a kid anymore, and besides, she then trailed off, one more before the chapter's finished. She then trailed off, sending a smile to Jack as she turned to him. I trust Jack's judgment.
Great.
There we go. That's this chapter finished for real this time.
Oh,
Sorry
yeah.
for any confusion.
I think I did some research, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like the most powerful car, I think, has like 1,479 horsepower.
Oh yeah, and this is just like
12,000.
12
Which is
of those.
Which, by the way, apparently it's like the most powerful like train engine or something like that.
Oh my god. So it's about 10 times stronger than the strongest car, which is also, I guess, a train.
Well, no, not the train. I'm talking the car is 1,479. The train is 12,000.
Oh, so it's about as
horsepower.
strong as a train. Okay.
Yeah, it's as strong as like a train.
Damn.
A really, really, really strong train, I think. Well, I did very little research. I would honestly not be surprised if that's wrong. I just thought that would be just to get a reference for what the trash these numbers are.
Well, it doesn't really matter that much, to be honest.
No, it doesn't.
Well, what'd you think about Chapter 5? Did you think that was a good game? Or, good game? Good chapter? Because I thought it was,
well...
Not a lot happened, to be honest. It was very,
the most important
repetitive.
thing was Crunch being a relevant character again.
Dude, they mentioned Crunch by name. The Crunch counter is up to 2.
And the Chuckle counter.
The Chuckle counter, I think I did.
Up by 1, actually.
Yeah, I think it's up
it's
by
only up
2.
this 1.
It's up by 2.
Oh, 2?
There's two Chuckles this chapter.
There was laughing, there was trailing off, there was taking things in.
Yeah. There was a lot of laughing, as well, yeah.
Next chapter, it's going to be completely different phrases he hammers down every single few sentences. Just watch it.
Of course.